Hello, my name is Catherine, and today's lesson is on continuous wrapping in Casalguidi Embroidery. In this picture, which is called Rosewood Cottage, the continuous wrapping stitch is used for the stems of these roses. So you can see them here, and you can see several of them in here. In traditional Casalguidi embroidery, it's used for curlicues and tendrils, and anything where you want a long, skinny, very flexible line. So in order to do the continuous wrapping stitch, you'll need 2 pieces of thread. The first one should be about twice as long as the continuous wrapping that you want to do, plus about 8 inches. And you plunge it down where you want to start your continuous wrapping, and then come up right beside it. It can be 1 or 2 fabric threads away. Then you can take the needle off and take the 2 ends of the thread and make sure that the whole thread is doubled. Okay? Then you have a second piece of thread threaded into a tapestry needle, and you'll start that right at the same spot. So you can come up in one of those 2 holes or in a hole that's in between them if you like. I've changed the orientation here because I like to work continuous wrapping towards myself. So this is actually really quite easy. All you have to do is run the needle under your 2 core threads, I call them, and wrap it around. And you just keep doing that. Run under the 2 core threads and make sure that the wraps stack right side by side. And that's basically it. You don't want to pull it too tight because that just makes it harder on your hands. But you do want the wraps to stack nicely side by side. And you don't want it to be loose. So you don't want it to be super tight wrapped around, but you also don't want it to be loose because then you'll get messy wraps. So you just want nice, neat wraps. And you can make these really long, or you can make them shorter depending on what you want them for. If you want to leave this for any reason, you have to get up to answer the door or the phone, or it's bedtime, whatever, you can just take a pin and pin that in place so that it doesn't all loosen up while you're gone. But you don't want to leave a pin in your work for too long. You can leave a permanent pin mark if you do that. Okay, for the sake of demonstration, this is as long as I want my continuous wrapping to be. But as I said, you can make it really as long as you want. So what I like to do is, for the last wrap, I come up inside the loop instead of below, so it almost ties a knot at the end, and that keeps it a little secured. Now, I threaded the end of the 2 core threads, and I will plunge that down where I want the continuous wrapping to end. And then that can be secured in the back of the work. Generally with Casalguidi embroidery, you'll have a background of 4-sided stitches, and that supports the needlework that goes on top, and it also gives you a place where you can finish off all your stitches. And now the working thread can get plunged down to the back of the work in the same spot. And you can use that working thread to couch this continuous wrapping into the shape that you want it to have. Or if you want it to be loose for whatever purpose you have, a flower stem or jellyfish legs, you can leave it loose. But for this, we will just couch this into kind of an S shape, just to give a little shape to it. So as you can see, that's quite dimensional on top of the fabric. And it's really flexible, so you can make it into pretty much any shape you want. And that is continuous wrapping. I hope that you found this video useful and that you enjoy working your design in Casalguidi embroidery. Happy stitching!